When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
This is The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. Have you ever been short of breath on a run? Of course you have. How about feeling a little fatigued afterward? You wouldn't be a runner if you didn't feel that. But what if those signs were actually the first symptoms of a serious deficiency, ruining your performance, your nails, your everyday well-being, and even your sleep? Millions of runners are unknowingly suffering from an iron deficiency, and it is slowly causing a cascade of problems that is not just affecting your running, but your whole life. Is this something you should be concerned about? Let's find out. Welcome to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic, and my mission is to help you improve your running, your mindset, and your life with science-backed training and plant-based nutrition. Today, I'm going to go into what you need to know about iron deficiency in runners. You'll learn why runners are at a higher risk for low iron, the signs and symptoms that you might not realize, and how to get more iron in your diet from plants. I'll also reveal a sneaky symptom of low iron that I just learned from my daughter that happily is easily fixed. If you're listening to this hoping that this is the answer to why you're not feeling your best about your running, then you're the perfect candidate for the PR team, because it might not be about iron at all. It could be that you need better training. With the PR team, you'll get a custom running schedule created by me, and it will include all your strength, mobility, and more. No more decision fatigue on what you should do today. It's all laid out for you perfectly in the app, which syncs to your running watch. You'll be joining a team of runners just like you, all ages and all paces, who are doing the same thing, and we're cheering each other on. It really is the best way to stay accountable and true to your goals while also getting a built-in group of new running buddies. I'll talk more about the team later on in the show, but if you are ready to learn more right now, head to theplantedrunner.com/group. Don't forget to stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode for this week's Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. So what happens with iron deficiency, and why should runners be especially concerned? Well, 2 reasons. Low iron makes running harder, and running itself can cause low iron. Let's get into the symptoms first. The first signs are usually feeling tired and short of breath, exactly what a runner doesn't want. But those are also things that can regularly happen to a healthy runner too. Other signs and symptoms may include weakness, pale skin, chest pain, fast heartbeat, headache, dizziness, lightheadedness, cold hands and feet, inflammation or soreness of your tongue, brittle nails, and lack of appetite. Some extreme cases also present with pica, which is an unusual craving for non-nutritive things such as ice, dirt, or starch. There is another symptom of low iron that I learned of recently, and it's something I bet you wouldn't think of, but it can be incredibly frustrating and destructive to your health and well-being. And it's something I learned from my 15-year-old daughter. My daughter is a track athlete who recently started supplementing with iron after she got her levels checked. She's actually the one who suggested that I do this episode. The other day she came to me and said, "Mom, ever since I've been taking iron, I've been able to fall asleep right away at night. It used to take me forever." Sure enough, I looked it up, and low iron can absolutely be the culprit of insomnia. Some recent studies have shown that as many as 56% of runners have a problem with low iron levels. Many times this can be so mild that you don't even notice any symptoms. But as your cells become more and more depleted, you will feel fatigued and your performance will suffer. And it's not just runners that have this issue. It is estimated that billions, yes, billions with a B, people on the planet suffer from low iron levels. Many of those who have a problem come from underdeveloped countries where simple, adequate nutrition is a challenge. But it also does happen to people who have access to all the food they could want. Runners can be at a higher risk for low iron for a few reasons. First, a process called foot strike hemolysis occurs in runners, especially those who run high mileage. Foot strike hemolysis is a process where red blood cells are damaged when the foot hits the ground, thus reducing your hemoglobin levels. It is debatable, however, how much of a difference this makes because we see low iron levels in swimmers just as much as runners. A small amount of iron is lost through sweating, which happens on the land and in the water. Runners working out in hot and humid conditions will lose more iron through sweat. Runners can also lose iron through your GI tract. This is normally fairly minor, but there may be a cumulative effect over months of running that can lead to an iron deficiency. And finally, premenopausal runners lose iron every month during menstruation, and this can be quite significant. Now, before we go any further, let's make sure we know what we are talking about and define a few terms. Ferritin is a protein in the body that binds to iron, storing it inside cells for later use. It acts as a primary iron reserve, mostly found in the liver, spleen, and bone marrow. A blood test measuring ferritin levels is used to detect iron deficiency or iron overload. Hemoglobin is an iron-rich protein found in red blood cells that transports oxygen from the lungs to the body's tissues and returns carbon dioxide from the tissues back to the lungs. It gives red blood cells their color, and it's crucial for aerobic metabolism, with normal levels indicating healthy oxygen delivery. Anemia is defined as a shortage of healthy red blood cells or low hemoglobin. Simply having low levels of iron does not mean that you have full-blown anemia. Iron deficiency with anemia occurs when low ferritin levels lead to low levels of hemoglobin. The World Health Organization defines that as less than 130 grams per liter in men and 120 grams per liter for women. Iron deficiency without anemia is diagnosed when ferritin levels are low, but hemoglobin levels are normal. So, what's considered a low level of ferritin? Well, that is currently up for debate. The World Health Organization defines the threshold for low ferritin as less than 15 micrograms per liter for adults. While these are the official diagnostic cutoffs for iron deficiency, many clinical guidelines now suggest a threshold of less than 30 micrograms per liter to accurately identify iron deficiency. And a recent American Gastroenterological Association guideline recommended use of a ferritin cutoff value of 45 nanograms per milliliter. Now, if you're listening carefully, you might notice I switched from micrograms per liter to nanograms per milliliter. That's likely a British versus American thing, but rest assured, they mean the same thing and can be used interchangeably. We'll just focus on the numbers. So remember, 45 is probably the low cutoff. You're going to want to be higher than that for peak performance, and most running professionals recommend at least 60. The high cutoff, called hemochromatosis, is more than 30 nanograms per milliliter for men and more than 200 nanograms per liter for women. This can be a very dangerous health concern for many reasons that I'm not going to get into here, which is why no one recommends supplementing with iron unless you've been tested. Okay, so you go to get an appointment to be tested. What do you do next, especially if you follow a plant-based diet? I'll go over that along with specific things you need to tell your doctor when we come back. I want to tell you about a unique opportunity for you to get stronger, faster, and stay motivated to hit your running and nutrition goals this year. And that is to join the PR team. Each member of the team gets a custom training plan made by me for you based on your unique fitness goals and lifestyle. Everything you need to achieve your running dreams is included, such as strength training, recovery, and even cross-training if you want it. I include weekly mental strength training as well as training tips and nutrition guides. But here's where it gets really cool. The group has its own page in the app where we share workouts, ask training questions, and get feedback from me and the other teammates. And each week, I create an exclusive private podcast just for the team based on the questions I get and what I see in their training each week. And I usually end up sharing behind the scenes and exclusive sneak peeks with the team that I don't share anywhere else. So instead of joining a Facebook group or sitting through another Zoom call, you get to listen to tailored advice on the run, and you don't have to do this all alone. When you're ready to take your running to the next level and join an amazing team of runners, head to theplantedrunner.com/group and join us today. It's more affordable than you think, and I can't wait to have you. The Planted Runner is sponsored by Liquid IV. Story time. When I first started running, I just went out and ran until I had to stop. Then I walked home. No fueling, no hydration, no plan at all. It actually kind of worked, but I was out there a long time until I finally figured out there's a better way to train. And it turns out there's a better way to hydrate than just water. Rehydrate with Liquid IV's Energy Multiplier, sugar-free hydrating energy. It's scientifically formulated to support physical energy, hydration, focus, mood, and social stamina, so it's perfect when you need a little boost on the run. Just one stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. Powered by Live Hydroscience, an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients that turn ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. Rehydrate better with better hydration and energy from Liquid IV, zero sugar and zero crash. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code PLANTED at liquidiv.com. Welcome back to The Planted Runner. I'm Coach Claire Bartholic. If you suspect that your iron levels are low, or if you just want to hedge your bets, don't rush out and get some iron pills just in case. Iron is toxic at high levels, and many people have a genetic predisposition to absorb iron in high amounts. Go see your doctor and get an anemia blood panel done, specifically requesting that your ferritin level be checked. Your ferritin level is typically not included for some strange reason in most anemia panels, so be sure to specifically ask for it. And don't forget to tell your doctor you are a runner. This is very important. Athletes will have a lower red blood cell count concentration in their blood, and that's because of the beneficial adaptations from exercise. When you become very fit, there is an expansion in your blood volume, and so that means there are fewer red blood cells in any given sample of your blood. This is called pseudoanemia, and scientists don't think it's actually a problem, but your blood is going to look a lot different from somebody who is sedentary. Once you get your results, your doctor will tell you if supplementation is necessary or not. If it is, over-the-counter iron pills are cheap and effective for most people. Some people who have extreme cases or don't tolerate oral iron well do better with iron infusions. Now, it's possible to get everything you need to be healthy and run well from a whole foods diet comprised mostly or even entirely of plants. Some athletes will always need to supplement, but if you're choosing foods with iron in mind, your need to supplement can be lessened or even eliminated. Iron is found in many foods, both animal and plant. Animal meats and organs are rich in a type of iron called heme, and certain plant foods are rich in non-heme iron, such as whole grains, greens, certain veggies, and fortified products. Heme iron is more easily absorbed than non-heme iron, but that's not necessarily a good thing. If you eat meat once a day, every day, you are likely getting 4 times the amount of iron that you need. And as I mentioned earlier, too much iron is toxic. Excess heme iron has been shown to cause gallstones, lower insulin sensitivity leading to diabetes, affect risk of cancer and dementia. High levels of iron have been found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients, and while correlation is not the same as causation, it is enough to cause concern. Adding in a daily multivitamin, a few slices of fortified wheat bread, or a bowl of cereal for breakfast, and you might be on your way to overdoing it. On the other hand, non-heme iron from plants is not absorbed as well, but it has also not been linked to the same issues as iron, not to mention the saturated fat, from animals. Diets high in iron-rich plant foods have been shown to reduce the risk of all of those diseases I just mentioned. So you can get the iron you need without the risks. And even better news is you get to eat more. So what do you eat if you need more iron? As I mentioned, greens are great sources of iron, but there's a catch to that. Spinach, for example, has lots of iron, but it also contains an anti-nutrient called oxalic acid or oxalate, which inhibits the absorption of iron. Another downside of oxalate, it can contribute to kidney stones, which I have experienced before and I never want to repeat. Other foods with oxalate include other greens like kale and Swiss chard, sweet potatoes, peanuts, and most heartbreaking of all, cocoa. As you can tell, most foods that contain oxalate are incredibly healthy and delicious foods. So even though not all of the iron they contain is absorbed, some of it still is, as well as a host of other nutrients and fiber. So worrying about oxalate is generally not a concern for most people. In my case, I still eat all of those foods, but I do skip the ones highest in oxalate now, like beets and Swiss chards, and no more greens powders or spinach-packed smoothies for me. And it's been 5 years since I've had a kidney stone, so I think I'm on the right path. Another anti-nutrient, phytic acid, can decrease iron absorption. It's found in grains, legumes, and some other plant foods. Like oxalic acid, phytic acid is found in very healthy foods, so those foods should not be avoided, and I'll share how you can counteract these anti-nutrients in just a minute. Iron competes for absorption with other minerals like calcium, zinc, magnesium, and copper. So when you consume a food high in these other minerals, iron often loses out. Several studies on children who drank a lot of milk, which contains a lot of calcium, have shown that they are at higher risk for iron deficiency. Some more iron inhibitors include egg protein, tannic acid from tea, certain herbs including peppermint and chamomile, coffee, and just about anything with fiber. Again, if you were to eliminate all these foods, life would be sad, not to mention unhealthy, so no one is recommending that. But if you're the type of person that has a cup of coffee with cream with your egg on toast, you can reduce the iron you would have gotten from the toast by 80%, which is a good thing to know if you are trying to get more iron. Including an orange or a bowl of strawberries with your breakfast could be a better solution. Vitamin C has been shown to counteract the effect of both oxalic acid and phytic acid, so iron is better absorbed. In one study, adding 63 milligrams of vitamin C to a grain-based iron-rich meal boosted the iron absorption by almost 300%. Just be sure not to wash it down with peppermint tea. Other vitamin C-rich foods include bell peppers and those dark leafy greens again. Another vitamin shown to improve iron absorption is vitamin A and the antioxidant beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is the red-orange pigment found in plants which turns into vitamin A in your body. Good food sources of beta-carotene and vitamin A include carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, kale, squash, red peppers, cantaloupe, apricots, oranges, and peaches. One study found that the presence of vitamin A or beta-carotene increased iron absorption from grains by up to 200 to 300%. So slice some peaches into your oatmeal, add some red peppers and carrots to your stir fry over rice, and saute up some garlicky greens and squash. And even better, use a cast iron pan because it's actually true that you can add a small amount of iron every time you cook. Getting enough iron in your diet can make you feel better and be delicious at the same time. And once your iron levels are back to normal, the shortness of breath and fatigue that you feel from a run will just be from good training. not iron deficiency. And now it's time for this week's Mental Strength Minute. Fortify your mind in 60 seconds or less. Today's topic is your brain believes what you repeat. This might feel counterintuitive, but your brain doesn't care about the truth. It only believes what you repeat. This is why mantras can be so effective. When you do something or say something over and over, whether it's good or bad, your brain believes it's good and important. This is why habits, good or bad, make behavior feel effortless to do and hard to quit. You don't have to believe you are a good runner. Just go run. You don't have to believe you'll get your goal time, but tell yourself you will anyway, over and over and over again. Thank you for listening to The Planted Runner, part of the Evergreen Podcast Network. Don't forget that you can enter to win a free custom training plan for your next race and get featured on the show. Just write an Apple Podcast review and enter at theplantedrunner.com/PRLab. Of course, reviews are the #1 way to boost this show's reach, and it's a great way to tell me what you'd like to hear next because I read every single one. Have a great run today.